Let's start the day with reacting to Last Peon, Last Peon, just Lazy Peon making his annual State of Emergency MMO genre video. I'll tell right now. This is not such a complex topic, okay? MMOs are not in a bad spot. New MMOs will always be in a bad spot as long as old MMOs exist, and old MMOs will always exist. Okay? How did MMOs even become popular, right? Why is World of Warcraft popular? Because it already had a cult following, not cult following, but like people were already interested in the universe before the MMO got released. Why will likely the Riot MMO going to be popular? Because there's so many people interested in the universe, in the lore of that world, that it would likely people will be interested in it. Okay, and people will want to explore it for themselves and see it as if like kind of like a first person, you know? Like they're like, "Oh my god, I can finally walk through the world that I only heard stories about." Okay? Why was Final Fantasy 14 kind of popular when it came out? Not so popular after because again, it's kind of not popular after the fact until they fixed a lot of stuff. But I think it had a good success when it started out, right? Numbers were decent, and again, because Final Fantasy 14 is one of the, if not the longest running universe, right? Even though every Final Fantasy is like in a slightly different, like parallel reality or whatever, but you already had like a massive following for Final Fantasy 14. Why did New World fail? Aside from like it being bad at the beginning, right? It fixed a lot of things at the end there. But let's be real, it's not going to get a million players. And a game the size of New World probably needs like 200,000 players just to like be something that is worth giving a live service for. Okay. The thing is that MMOs are extremely expensive to maintain. They require a lot of work and they are a huge flop because just by default, you need a huge time investment to play them. You can't make an MMO that is a pick up and play type of game. I think Guild Wars 2 is probably the most pick up and play MMO if you're into PvP. PvE, not so much. It's a lot of grinding. But if you're into PvP, honestly, Guild Wars 2 is like pick up and play. Okay? For what it's worth, as much as I hate OSRS, OSRS is kind of pick up and play. There's no ever any rush to get anywhere. And it's kind of like a solo play. Like it's technically like OSRS, honestly, I can't call it multiplayer. Like it's not an MMO. But you kind of share the world with other people, but like you mostly play solo, so it's like you really play at your own pace. Whereas like a lot of stuff in Guild Wars 2 in terms of PvE, you can't do alone. So it's like it's a lot more of an MMO compared to something like RuneScape that is practically a solo player experience, right? So the major reasons why MMOs are not successful is they require a lot of money to start off. They require people to already be interested in your universe. But honestly, I think the most important thing is a new MMO needs to have um, the funds to run itself at least 5 to 10 years before they would make a profit. As absurd as it sounds, because no matter which MMO you're going to release right now, it will never have enough content for players that play MMORPG. Like that's just how it is. You might not have enough classes, the balance might be off, there's not enough raids or end game activity, right? Even Ashes of Creation's main content is going to be leveling for like multiple months. Like just leveling. That is not very attractive to a lot of people. It's like on paper, it's like, oh, what do you mean? This is like the whole point is, you know, like the adventure and shit like that. It's like, I get it, but that's like a one-time thing, maybe. And honestly, if the leveling is really slow and you don't feel the advancement in your class, Like you're not getting new skills because the skill requires level 7, you're level 5. So you're doing like 5 to 7 and takes you hours, and then finally at 7 you unlock a skill and it's kind of like underwhelming and you don't even use it in your rotation because the skill is kind of shit, right? It's like you feel like fuck, did I waste like why did it take me so long to get this skill that like I can't, like there's no even point using. Maybe it's a skill that you will use later on in the game, but right now it's kind of like useless. And these are balances that's like, I know Ashes is doing like its all closed beta all like consistently. Like people who bought the $500 key and stuff, they're probably going to be testing these things. But a lot of stuff will get under the radar. Like there's a difference between thousands of people playing and like hundreds of thousands of people playing. Like you're gonna find a lot more things with 100,000 people. So the problem with MMOs is they need to last long on their own merit before, like so not even on their own merit. They need to last for a long time before they can even turn a profit. So AOC will see.
Spend big money.
Like Ashes of Creation, we'll see. I doubt it will be successful, but Riot MMO probably is the only thing that has a chance. I'm also gonna speed this video up. Now that I gave my 2 cents, let's see what Peon says.
I think it's time that we're honest about the state of the MMO genre, especially Western MMOs, as 2025 has probably been one of the worst years ever for the genre. Like, just when you think it can't get any worse, it somehow does. But these past few months in particular have been brutal. We've had Amazon Game Studios shut down unexpectedly after the recent New World expansion, and as a result, the in-development Lord of the Rings MMO has also been cancelled.
You know why, like, he says stuff like this, where it's like, oh, it's been the worst year for MMOs because the MMO studio by Amazon got shut down? Bro. New World was 50,000 players on like the new release, like on the new patched release. Usually there was like 20,000 players playing it. That's not a huge loss in the MMO sphere, and those 20,000 players are probably playing something else. This is like unnoticeable numbers across all the MMORPG genres together, right? You have like millions of people playing MMORPGs on a regular basis. 20,000, even if like let's say somehow these 20,000 only play New World and now they will never play any other MMORPG, never going to be the case, right? That's not a loss for the like, it's just not a loss. This is like a whatever, like a not even a dent.
Project Ghost, the MMO by ex-WoW and Riot dev Ghostcrawler, was recently cancelled after NetEase pulled their funding. A few months ago, the upcoming ZeniMax Online Studios MMO, Project Blackbird, was cancelled. And very recently, Jacalyptic Games announced that the upcoming Warhammer MMO has also been cancelled.
Wait, hold up. The Ghostcrawler MMO got cancelled? Project Ghost? NetEase has abandoned another... Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they fucked up. Like, they spent too much money on shit that didn't even matter, but yeah.
After 3.5 years of development, it genuinely feels like it's all over. The only big MMO releases in the near future are all coming out of Asia. The few Western projects that are still ongoing we either know nothing about, or are indie projects that still need a lot of development and may still be years away from a full release. Is there any hope? Mate, I'll do my best to try and find something optimistic, but I can't promise I'm going to make you feel better. It is looking pretty bleak, but there is one positive. Today's sponsor, Old School RuneScape. This is my main...
Disgusting game. Disgusting game. Garbage. Garbage game. Okay, anyways. It's not even an MMORPG, okay? The solo player game in an MMORPG
The cost of developing a modern MMORPG is well, the uncomfortable releases from studios buying try out the now, my first one now. Okay, so what's going on with Western MMOs? When people say the MMO genre is dying, what they're really talking about is MMOs from Western developers, as almost every year we do see big new releases from studios in Asian countries like Korea, China, or Japan. Why is this?
Probably, they all look the same, so either AI generated or they all use the same engine. The combat itself is extremely simple, it's not very complex, the amount of skills is very limiting, and it's just cash shop shit. That's pretty much it. They're all free to play with insane cash shops. That's pretty much it, and they just look good, hot chicks, and they get abandoned as soon as they like make a profit and they go to the next one. Like, anyone heard about Throne and Liberty recently? I'm sure it still has players, but like it's the same thing that happened with Lost Ark. The same thing that's gonna happen with Aeon 2. The same thing that's gonna happen with pretty much any Asian MMORPG that gets released. It's great for a few months and then you're done. That's not what MMORPGs are about. And, you know, like, if you like it, that's cool. But like, I don't want to play an MMORPG to dump it in like a few months and go next. Dude, that like I have League of Legends for that shit. I have COD for that shit. Battlefield, right? Which I don't even play because I don't like. That's not. If you're an MMORPG player, you want a world to grow in. You know, like you want a world to get yourself immersed in and play for like 3,000 hours. Which, by the way, good luck also getting new players from MMOs that they did play for 3,000 plus hours, right? So it's like, you know.
Well, the uncomfortable truth is that Asia can afford to make MMOs and the West simply cannot anymore. Let me explain. In places like California, Austin, London, or Berlin, the cost of developing a modern MMORPG is absolutely insane, mostly due to wages and the cost of living. If you want to hire a senior gameplay programmer in the US or Western Europe, you're often paying well into six figures before benefits, taxes, insurance, studio overheads. The whole thing starts to spiral.
Can somebody explain to me why you have to develop these games in Silicon Valley and in Irvine, California? Like, why do you have to develop them? Why can't you make a studio in buttfuck Illinois? You know, like you don't have to make a studio in the most expensive place where the developers have to pay the most for the cost of living, or just honestly, if you want to do that, just work like make it a remote. Honestly, at this one, you can make a remote dev studio. Okay, this is a non-issue that they're creating. There's so many solutions to this. You don't have to make your studio in like the worst fucking place to live and work in terms of finances.
But in Korea, in China, even Japan, those same roles are dramatically cheaper, and when you zoom out, it means a full MMO can be built for a fraction of what it would cost in the West. A Western AAA MMO easily becomes a $100 to $200 million gamble, but an Asian MMO with the same scope might be made for 30 to 50 million. And here's the thing, when your development costs are lower, you don't need to be critically acclaimed to turn a profit. This is why we constantly see Asian MMOs popping up even when they don't set the world on fire critically. They don't need to. A 7 out of 10 bit grindy kind of pay-to-win MMO can still make money in Korea or China because the investment risk is lower, the player expectations are different, and the monetization culture heavily favors cosmetics, gachas, and whales. Some of these games double dip by launching on both PC and mobile too. Even if the PC version flops in the West, the mobile version can still print money in Asia and completely cover the development costs. Meanwhile, in the West, studios need a
yeah, but like that's not a success in like okay, sure, they can make money, but like do you want Western MMOs to produce like MMO honestly, this like you might as well call it MMO slop. Like straight up, just call it MMO slop. Do you want like you don't play them, right? Peon doesn't play these games aside from like making a video when it comes out to like you know pros and cons whatever, and that's fine for his content. But in terms of like games you play, you don't play these games. No one in the West, well, some people in the West probably still do, but like nobody practically plays these games. Steam charts. I actually wonder what is like Throne and Liberty at. I wonder, like I like legit. I haven't played after the first month. Like 15,000 for an MMORPG, bro. Oh, this is open beta. Has more than the actual game. 10,000. A Lost Ark that some people like lost their fucking head over. Right? Lost Ark, bro. 9,000. These are not MMO games at this point. This is like I don't even know what this is like an ARPG with people that sometimes are around you. Okay, like this is not a successful or like a maintainable model for MMORPGs in the West. People in the West, is my opinion, want to have an MMO they can sink their life into. Not a pick up and play and dump in a month and wait for the next season for the next item level or whatever. We already have that. That's World of Warcraft. We already do that. We play WoW for 1 or 2 months, and when the new patch, well, not me, but like some people still play WoW. You play it for 1-2 months. You max out your item level, and you say peace out. You know, maybe you got your cutting edge in those 2 months as well. Once raid releases, right? Mythic raid releases, which is like 2 weeks after the patch. You get your cutting edge. You say peace out. Okay, I'll see you next patch. Like, I don't want a seasonal MMORPG. I want a world to sink my fucking life into, like, to miss my gym, you know? Like, it's like, I haven't gone to the gym in a week. Why? Because I've been busy playing this MMO. That's what I want. Okay? I want to go to work and be like, fuck, man, I wish I was home playing this MMO. A game to ruin my life over. That's what I'm asking for. in terms of MMORPGs. And Lost Ark, Throne Liberty, AM2, these are not the games that will do that. This is a game that you just play a bit, like enjoy it, and like you dump it, and like you never come back.
Massive genre-defining hits
Ever.
just to break even.
Ever.
If the game launches as merely okay, it's not seen as an acceptable outcome. It's seen as a failure. Investors know this, publishers know this, and that's why so few Western MMOs are even getting greenlit anymore. It's not that the West forgot how to make MMOs, it's that the economics have changed so much that they can barely justify taking the risk. Back in the mid to late 2000s, things were very different. That era felt like the Wild West of MMO development when it came to Western studios. Every year you'd hear about some new WoW killer cooking in the background. Warhammer Online, Age of Conan, Rift, WildStar, Guild Wars 2, Lord of the Rings Online, SWTOR, even weird shit like Tabula Rasa. It was a constant conveyor belt of big new Western MMORPGs because...
Isn't Guild Wars 2 like 2013 though? So it's like, does it even count? This is after the hype of MMOs, isn't it? Like, I think 2009 was basically the last year where you're like, oh, this is the new WoW killer type of shit, you know?
Because the genre was the hot investment at the time. Why? Well, blame World of Warcraft. The moment Blizzard proved you could make an MMO and have it pull in literal billions a year, every investor decided, yep, we want one of those. So money was flying everywhere, studios were hiring rapidly, and publishers were greenlighting anything with the letters MMO attached to it.
Yeah, except they skipped the part of building the world before you release the MMO, but like, who? Ain't nobody got time for that.
Development costs were also significantly lower back then too. Budgets weren't tiny, but they were still manageable. Vanilla WoW reportedly cost somewhere in the range of $50 to $60 million to develop. Some sources even estimate up to $75 million, which was considered a monster budget at the time,
but isn't that before inflation? Like, if you apply inflation to it, how much would this be? This would be like 200 million probably, or like, I don't even know. This would be a lot more than 63 million. Like, if it, like, in today's climate, you know, like,
still nowhere near the $100 to $2 million range that you need today to build a Western AAA MMO at the same scale. Back then, you didn't need motion-captured cinematics, fully voice-acted quest lines, high-fidelity assets, 4K texture pipelines.
I'm not gonna lie, I honestly think making MMOs today should be substantially easier if you just focus on the important shit. Okay? Like, voice acted, like, you don't have to make everything voice acted. Make the main story voice acted. I don't think people care about voice acted that much. Most people skip the quests anyways if they're side quests. Who cares? Like, you don't have to like spend all of your budget on voice acting everything. Just make your main quest voice act. Honestly, you don't even have to voice act everything in the main quest. Just the important bits. Like, do like Final Fantasy 14. You can cut costs on that. That's not a big deal. Right? People who love the story will read it too. Like, it's not a big deal. You can do it. Okay? Then what else? Like, honestly, engines right now are pretty much made for you. Unless you're developing your own engine, okay, that's extra. But with the help of AI and all that stuff, like, bro, like, I'm sorry. It should cost way less to create a game now than it did before. Shit, how many people are making games on the daily on Steam, you know? Like, one-player games. Look at this game, right? Voin. Oh, why am I doing a lack of frame? Where's my Steam? There we go. Voin, made by one game, dude. I had 26 hours played on it because, again, there's only like so much content. But this is like a 1-year-old game that you can play, like, probably get like 15 to 20 hours of it to clear all of it by one person as a side hobby. And it plays great. Obviously, this is not an MMO, sure. Doesn't have a live server, sure. I'm just saying that it's like, I bet this person would not be able to make this game 20 years ago so easily, if at all. The resources are out there. There's so many developers that are looking for a job right now. I don't know. I find it, if you're spending 200 million to make an MMO, you're focusing on a lot of the wrong things, in my opinion.
Or decade-long pre-production cycles. A major MMO in 2007 could be made in that $40 to $60 million range or less and still be competitive. The technical bar was lower, the financial risk was lower, investor confidence was higher, and the audience was absolutely starved for anything resembling WoW, but slightly different. But that era is gone now. Games cost far more to make, expectations are way higher, audiences are more fragmented, and investors would rather make a cheap hero shooter or mobile gacha instead of gambling their future on a decade-long MMO.
Funny enough, you can, like, making a hero shooter put a PvE version of the hero shooter in it. Like, you can literally keep a lot of the way a hero shooter plays and throw it into an MMO world. Like you literally can. Okay? Probably add like a few more skills, or just make a bunch of characters with their own skills. Basically what I'm saying is, you make a Warframe with an open world scene. You're good. You're done. You have a character. They only have like 4 abilities, but you have, what is now, 55, 60 characters that you can play, and you can unlock them as you go. And you can just like, and like your account progression would be unlocking these characters that would do different abilities, and then you can PvP with them and stuff like that. And then obviously gear and all that stuff, right? That you can throw on them based on like the character. Bro, just make Warframe in an MMO. Boom, you're done. Like, this will not cost you $200 million. I'm sorry. Like, this just won't. And decide on the type of combat, if you want like Elden Ring, or do you want more WoW, or do you want more Overwatch, or more like Warframe. Honestly, I don't recommend Warframe for MMORPG. It is too fast. As much as I don't like the aspect of having PvP in MMO, like I'm not a big fan of PvP inside of MMO, but it is something that has to be in an MMO. This is something that you would want to do every now and then. This is an aspect that has to be in an MMORPG. I just don't think it should ever be the focus of an MMORPG, right?
Projects. Rightfully so, like from an investor point of view, you can understand this, but that's how we went from dozens of Western MMOs popping up every year to barely anything even making it past the concept phase.
Yeah, but
today.
none of them succeeded. Rift was like, I don't even think it lasted half a year. Fuck, man. This one is still alive. Lord of the Rings Online is like still in the state of classic WoW, realistically. I don't even know. I'd never even heard that Warhammer had an MMORPG. Conan was actually like decent for like, it lasted a few years, but it just never picked up. Like, it was never picked up by the regular player because it's so niche. Like, just the genre is niche. The way it's played is very niche, right? Star Wars pretty good, and again, I think you just need to make a better Star Wars MMORPG with today's graphic, and you're good. Make a better Warhammer Online, and you're good. Like, pick a genre that has a major fan base that is currently not under some political nonsense. Like, don't make Lord of the Rings Online right now. Why? Because the last time people heard about Lord of the Rings was, the TV show by Netflix that is complete utter garbage. Okay, Wildstar again. Who cares about this universe? Nobody.
We went from dozens of Western MMOs popping up every year to barely anything even making it past the concept phase today. So is there any hope? At this point, you're probably thinking, all right, Peon, this is all very depressing.
Yeah,
Please tell me there's at least
Riot
something
is
to
the
look
only
forward
hope
to from
right
the
now.
West. And yes, there is some hope, and I pray this video doesn't age poorly, because with how things have been going recently, any one of these could be the next cancellation announcement. Guild Wars 3 is in development at ArenaNet. It's not officially announced yet, but hiring listings and internal documents have all but confirmed it. ArenaNet has a proven track record. Guild Wars is a beloved IP.
I think a lot of people do not think that Guild Wars 3 will be an MMORPG, but we'll see.
And if it gets to a full release, I personally expect it to have a high chance of success, considering both Guild Wars 1 and 2 were both successful games critically and financially. The Riot MMO is still alive. It went through a major reboot, the scope was reduced, and a lot of the team was reshuffled, but Riot hasn't cancelled it. Riot Games doesn't work on things forever for no reason, so clearly there's still some internal belief in this project. And then there's a surprising one. Very recent news, Hytale is back. Riot just gave the rights back to Hypixel Studios, and development has resumed under the original team. This was a project that was announced as cancelled earlier this year, so it's quite a nice surprise to see it resurrected again. We have Ashes of Creation, which recently announced it's coming to Steam Early Access on December 12th. This announcement was met with quite a bit of backlash for a number of reasons, and it's a topic that deserves its own video, and I do worry it's going to get negative Steam reviews, with most testers fearing it's too early for early access. But at least,
unless they just release the content that is complete and cap your level and all that stuff, and don't let you go to, like, the early access should not be what the people who paid like $500 for are getting. It should not. Okay, because then you're gonna get a lot of like negative reviews, because like, oh, this is not finished, this is bullshit, this is that, right? Just like early access, I don't know, max level 15, 20, whatever is available. Explore the world, kind of get into it, try out the characters. And in my opinion, probably the lower the level, the better, so people don't spend too much time on one character, and they get to like test everything out and check everything out that they can to find what they really like about the game. Okay, if I roll, I don't know, a cleric, and I level it to 20 and I had a bad experience, trust me, I'm not trying, and like it took me months to get to 20, right? Trust me, I'm not trying another character to spend months more to fucking be disappointed, right? So that's my opinion about early access for Ashes.
This one is actually playable. The gameplay itself is really solid, but it's got a ways to go until it's a complete experience. Then you've got a few smaller scale MMO lights as well as indie projects. For a full list on all of these MMOs...
I'd say you know what's missing, and I think Guild Wars 2 kind of did it okay, but it's not perfect, and that is avoiding the Holy Trinity. I think there should be more than just the Holy Trinity. Maybe Holy Quadrinity. Okay, good. My mic is not picking up the drilling sound, like looks like. But like the way Guild Wars 2 did it, sometimes you get the tank sound, you need a tank for like some fights. Basically the guy with the most toughness will tank. And you do have the healers, but now you have the support DPS and you have the regular DPS. I think something along those lines is kind of like what the MMO genre needs. Somebody who might be specializing in CC and support, you can still have the healer or something like that, and then you have the pure DPS, and then maybe the tank, and then maybe the buffer, whatever, I don't know, like, you know, utility, or somebody who's a profession that you bring in that he doesn't really fight, but he supports the team in other ways. I'm like throwing it out there. I don't think that specific last one would be actually fun for a lot of people to do. They might actually be. This is the funniest thing. If you make an MMORPG, when you have like a craft profession that you pretty much want to get into your raids and dungeons, they don't fight, but they just like repair your gear between fights, you know, supply you with potions or whatever, right? They're like, if you watch the anime, picking up girls in a dungeon, I forgot the name, but like I think you know which one I'm talking about if you saw it. And there's the I think they just call her supporter kun, which is like the girl that carries like the huge bag with all the supplies and shit. So something like that would actually be really interesting, but because they will probably be so rare, you would actually want to like hire them as like they would just have like their own like supporter guild where you just hire the people to like that you hire them to like come to your raids because nobody wants to play. That would be interesting. I don't think that's possible, but that would be really interesting.
Both indie and AAA, as well as some fully released under-the-radar MMOs. Check out my 2 recent videos, Every Upcoming MMORPG 2025 and Beyond, as well as Indie MMO Devs in 2025 Are Insane. If you can't find hope in these videos or the current MMOs, then that brings us to the next question. What would it take for MMOs to make a big comeback?
Let's see.
Honestly, it's going to take a few things. Number 1, a monetization model that isn't pay to win, but still prints money.
Yep.
This is the biggest thing that needs to change if MMOs are ever going to make a comeback. For the past decade, monetization has basically been split into...
It's not that hard. With today's tech, just copy Guild Wars 2, okay? Probably won't, like, you won't have the gacha Blackland chess keys and stuff, but maybe you can have something like that as well. Just copy that, more cosmetics, but still have cosmetics that are worth chasing. But what you want to do, in my opinion, outfits are bad. Outfits are one of the worst monetizations thing you can do, because outfits are like, everybody's gonna wear this outfit, you know, like if an outfit is cool, you're gonna see it everywhere and it's not unique and you can't play around with it. So like Guild Wars 2 outfits, I really don't like them. But if I could mix and match parts of the outfit, that would be cool. So I can buy an outfit, but I only want like the pants and the chest from it, and then I want to put like these legs and these boots and these gloves from it, and then this helmet, and I was like, damn, that's sick. Do outfits like that, that's fine, right? But honestly, just copy Guild Wars 2, you know? Just only thing that Guild Wars 2 is missing is cosmetics to chase in game, and it just doesn't feel good that like, yeah, I can just like, you know, put gold, turn it to gems, and then buy the cosmetic I want. It just doesn't feel as good. Outfit was mismatchable in OG Guild Wars 2. What do you mean? Outfit was mismatchable. Like you could play around it. You could play around with the outfits. They should bring it back. That's bullshit. That should bring it back. That should bring it back. I want to be able to play with outfits, man. I just want the chest from one of my outfits and the legs from another. Like, why can't I do that? That's so why remove it?
Into two extremes: Western MMOs,
Yeah,
cosmetics, optional subs,
very
small battle passes; Eastern MMOs, gachas, power boosts, power selling, progression shortcuts, and everything in between. Neither side has fully cracked the non-pay to win but massively profitable.
Let me see. Eastern MMOs,
progression shortcuts.
So here's the thing. I don't think gachas are inherently bad, but everybody's using them in the worst way possible. All of this is good. Optional subs is ESO. Honestly, dude, I think ESO has an amazing sub value, because for the price of the sub, you get the in-game currency as well, like the money currency, as well as other quality of life. You can totally play without a sub, but I think the sub is just so worth it. And then, and this is what, in my opinion, if Guild Wars 2 did this, oh my god, I would be so happy. I would even make a brand new account and fucking play it and pay for a sub. If Guild Wars 2 took the ESO sub model, okay, so it's like you pay the $15 a month, you get gems for whatever $15 is worth, maybe even slightly less, but if you are subbed, you unlock all of the living worlds automatically until you cancel your sub, but also you will be able to buy all of the living worlds and expansions that are not current with gems. I tweet you a clip, you can take a look, but I'm not sure how correct it is. Is on my X. I'll check it out after this video. Just remind me. But yeah, so it's like basically copy the ESO model for the sub that way. That would be so dude. I would sub to Guild Wars 2. I am not into subbing. I would sub to Guild Wars 2 for that shit. Straight up. In my opinion, ESO had one of the most lucrative subs ever. And unlimited material storage if you're subbed. Done. I think Guild Wars 2 is gonna make bank if they made a sub like that, where you get unlimited material storage, you get gems monthly, and you can buy non-current expansions with you unlock the expansions while you are subbed, and you are able to buy them with gems. So then, even if you're a free-to-play player, you can farm gold and buy the expansions. That's cool. Nobody's gonna do that. You sub, you unlock everything up to the minus the current expansion, maybe even minus the 2 most current expansions. So you can play the whole game as long as you're sub, and then because you're getting gems while you're sub, you can buy those expansions later. Right, with the gems that you're making while you're subbed, which is exactly how ESO works. And on top of that, while you're subbed, you have unlimited material storage. Therefore, you will never have to spend your gems on material storage unless you're so loaded with gems that at that point you can stop subbing. Which, by the way, if you're loaded with gems, is like being loaded with gold in this game. And if you're loaded with gold, you can also just have any cosmetic and all the gems in the world, because you're loaded anyways. Yo, that would be so good. Yo, Guild Wars 2. Yo, hit me up, man. Let me hit you up with this information. You fucking do it. Also, take the Warframe. Actually, they have the Battle Pass. Never mind. Guild Wars 2 has the Warframe Battle Pass. It's amazing. I love it. Astral Vault, amazing.
everything in between. Neither side has fully cracked the non-pay-to-win but massively profitable formula. Until recently, a new business model has started to emerge out of China: free-to-play, non-pay-to-win with cosmetic-only gacha and battle pass. For this to work, the games need to have extensive character cosmetic features, such as player housing with housing items, dyeable outfits, mount skins, animations, player effects. Basically create social features that allow players to flex cosmetics without selling power. If, and this is the key, if the game itself is good enough, this model absolutely prints money. Two perfect examples where wins meet. This game is basically a full single-player wuxia RPG with MMO.
Yeah, but this is single player, so kind of beats the point. But
elements sitting on top of that.
Wait, is Where Winds Meet free? I thought it was like I thought you have to buy it. I don't even know if it's. Wait, it's free? And I didn't try it? Oh man, okay. I gotta add this. Wait, how do you get it? Play game. Add to library. Oh my god, I didn't know it was a free game. Dude, I thought it was like a $50 game. Oh, we're definitely trying it sometime. Oh my god. Right,
with players having the option to play the MMO mode or just enjoy the single-player mode. The game is zero pay-to-win and it's just cosmetic gacha plus battle pass, and in the first month of its Chinese release, reportedly made over $90 million from both mobile and PC. Sort of
it's on mobile too?
This is a mobile-first MMO, but it uses the same non-pay-to-win business model. Massively successful in China. Over 40 million players in the first month. Not so successful with its Western Steam release because we understandably don't like to see a hideous mobile UI when we launch a game via Steam. Here's something wild I found.
Is he using the Valheim music in the background?
Massively successful in China. Over 40 million players.
Or Enshrouded?
In the first month. Not so successful with its Western
I think it's Enshrouded. I think it is Enshrouded.
Understandably, don't like to see a hideous mobile UI when we launch a game via Steam. Here's something wild I found. World of Jade Dynasty, another new Chinese MMO that also uses the free-to-play, mostly cosmetic monetization model. There's a cosmetic dragon mount in the game that's sold for the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of premium gems acquired through gacha. When obtained, it triggers a server-wide special event, and community posts joke about it being the million RMB mount. Apparently, on average, it can cost over 100k USD to obtain, and is a purely cosmetic flex item tied to absurd spending. For the past decade, mobile games have absolutely printed cash from a tiny percentage of players that they refer to as whales, who account for the majority of spending on these games. It seems like the new monetization meta, in China at least, is to give whales the opportunity to spend big money on these flex cosmetic items instead of buying actual power. Although I think we're still early in seeing this model adopted in other regions, these games at least prove something incredibly important. You don't need pay to win if your cosmetic and fashion game is strong enough. MMO players love cosmetics. If you give them good transmog, a proper dye system, player housing with furniture, mount skins, weapon skins, outfit collections, emotes, dances, gestures, seasonal battle pass cosmetics, they will spend a stupid amount of money without ever breaking the integrity of the game, at least to a certain extent. If you then want to capture the whales, you can then also throw in some uber rares via cosmetic gap.
Oh, dude. Lele, I didn't recognize you. I remember your name from X. Was this always your YouTube handle?
So the gamers who have invested in Nvidia stock can gamble to get their equivalent of an in-game Rolex. The key is to simply make a good game first. If the game is free, has good gameplay, the world is fun, and the social systems are solid, then cosmetics alone can easily sustain a modern MMO.
I forgot your YouTube handle.
On pay to win.
I
Another
guess.
weird source of hope for MMOs actually comes from something that most gamers hate: governments getting involved, especially in China. According to Reuters, in late 2023, new rules were proposed in China targeting whale mechanics, which means no login rewards, no first top-up bonus, no streak spending rewards, spending limits for players, direct purchase options for items normally locked behind gacha, and stricter transparency around probability items. These changes directly attack the systems that have kept many Eastern MMOs profitable through pay-to-win design. South Korea followed with its probability disclosure law in 2024, forcing all games with gacha to clearly show the real odds everywhere. We've still got a long way to go until pay.
Isn't that also like something they're doing in Europe right now with the anti-gacha thing in Europe? Didn't like Belgium, again, this is a rumor, I don't know, but like did Belgium remove Black Lion keys from Guild Wars 2 store? Yes, players located in Belgium are unable to purchase Black Lion chess keys and other random custom items directly from the Guild Wars 2 gem store due to Belgian gambling regulations. Damn. Damn. So it is the case. Yeah, this is coming to a Europe country near you.
win is regulated completely out of MMOs, but if China and Korea keep pushing in this direction, developers may be forced towards the exact monetization model that Western players actually want. 3. The possibility of AI reducing development costs for MMOs dramatically in the future. Controversial topic because it means people losing their jobs, and at this point I'm sick to death of hearing about AI. I think it's made the internet an absolute slop fest these past few years, and I'm honestly not convinced it's even going to be a net positive for humanity. However, we have already seen people use AI to help with asset generation, animation blending, procedural dialogue, world-building tools, and QA.
It's like saying I don't believe Facebook will be a net positive for humanity. Of course it is. Of course it is. With all the bullshit that is happening because of it, it is a net positive for humanity, okay? It's just that the first couple of generations will probably, because there's like the regulations are not appropriate yet and stuff like that, they need to figure out the regulations, and they still are not even on it because we don't have long-term effects that we see or that are caused by the internet. Once we see them, like there's going to be a study, I'm sure there's studies already, but the internet has only been live for like 30 years. That's not that big of a like test. Like you won't need to see it like how it affected people that were like at this age when the internet came out, how it affect people who were this age when they start interacting with the internet. Yeah, there's so many variables you have to check for that it's like we don't know yet. I think honestly in like probably 20 to 30 years more, we'll have much better regulations for everything that is on the internet, including probably the AI would be included in, because AI is going to be a big part of the internet.
Automation. If AI tools can cut MMO development costs by even 20 to 30%, maybe just doing a few mundane tasks here and there, that's already massive. Suddenly the genre becomes more financially viable again for studios that previously couldn't justify it. And if AI gets to the point where one artist...
By the way, you don't even... like, only recently probably university added courses of AI development. Right now, everybody who's using AI is kind of like self-taught. Okay? You're gonna have universities, computer science, that are focused on AI, that are just going to dish out bunch of human beings that their only knowledge in the world is how to properly use AI for whatever topic they want to use it for. You're gonna have literally AI game developers. Okay, like people who are just learning how to use AI to develop games, or to develop better AI to develop games. Okay, you're gonna cut on costs so much. Honestly, in my opinion, compared to now, I think you're gonna cut like 60% of costs for creating any type of game.
The work of 5, one designer can generate hundreds of quest variations, then that changes everything. I don't think it's going to magically resurrect the genre overnight, but over the next 5 to 10 years, this could potentially be one of the biggest factors that brings MMOs back. Number 4.
The other thing that AI can do for MMOs is if a world is low on people, you will probably have AI players. I'm fairly certain you might already have AI players playing in the game that you think they're people, but they're just AI. Okay, like that might already exist. I know, like we've seen like the WoW videos that like people are talking to AIs, but I mean like actually playing the game to make you feel like you are playing with people.
A breakout hit from either side. The truth is, one massively successful MMO, whether Western or Asian, could completely shift investor confidence. All it takes is one game that proves that you can still make $1 billion MMO in the 2020s. Another World of Warcraft level success. If that happens, money will flow again, studios will pivot, publishers will chase the trend as they always do, and the 2007 to 2012 era of constant MMO launches could absolutely return. But that's me reaching dangerous levels of hopium. So much so, it's probably best that we wrap up the video here before I get sent to the hospital.
Yeah, I doubt you're gonna have another World of Warcraft specific success unless we all live on like some welfare or some shit like that. It's just impossible in the world we live in. We had a massive economic boom, and like right before, well, we had a massive economic bubble that crashed everyone in like 2000, not everyone, but like it crashed people in 2009, but everyone was living in like a massive bubble up until that point. Like WoW is just like the perfect game due to circumstances, the perfect timing. It had the perfect setup for it. It came in the perfect technological age. There are so many things that just like worked for WoW literally because of timing. So it's like, is it possible again? I highly doubt it, unless again we create more like first world countries around the world, and everybody, due to probably AI, gets what do you call it? like monthly income just for like being a human being. Okay, like maybe, you know. All right. So what is this? You said this is the thing about the cosmetics, right? Oh, this is a misrepresentation.
It was leaked in like an NCSoft meeting. No, that was a mistranslation. So Zero, there was a meeting, and I believe it was in like Korea or something. And when it was translated to English, someone mistranslated Guild Wars 2 to 3, and it spread like wildfire.
Oh,
That's what you're referring to.
and people are still talking about this. Dude, honestly though, even if they started developing Guild Wars 3 now, you're still not gonna see it for like 7 years. So like, does it really 5 to 7 years, right? Like, does it really matter? Who cares? Like, when we discovered that they're talking about Guild Wars 3, that was only talks. They didn't even start anything. Like, they didn't even start making it. They might have started making it because they saw people were like excited about it, so they're like, well, we might as well start doing it because people clearly want it. But if they just starting to hire and to make it, like, what are we even talking about? It's 2025. Like, wake me up in 2032 or some shit like that. Like, yeah, this is nowhere near reality. Got plenty of years to go with Guild Wars 2. And also, it doesn't mean that Guild Wars 3 comes out and Guild Wars 2 goes to shit. And it's also not smart by a game dev to create a game that competes with itself. That's why Warcraft and StarCraft stopped competing with one another, and they made StarCraft 2 and they stopped doing any more strategy games because they're just competing with one another. They want to make, didn't they want to make like a StarCraft MMO, and then they're like, you know what, that would be stupid. Like, why would we do that? Damn.